Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 13 of Pokemon Crystal. In the last part, we entered the rocket hideout. Now we're gonna continue through it. And what are those things in the... Those totally aren't sprites that we're gonna have to fight at some points. Man, I'm tired. Sorry if I'm a bit silent to watch this video especially, because I'm very tired. I've been up all night. And up here we get TM46, which is Thief, which steals an enemy's held item. Not that useful unless you know for a fact that it's gonna hold something. Which is fairly rare. Oh, hello. I haven't seen you in about 2-3 parts. And apparently Lance beat Jason down very easily, which means Lance is obviously a strong trainer because... Let's just say, because we will be fighting Jason later on, and he is actually much stronger than he was last time, the next time we'll fight him. Anyway, in the last part we also got the 2 passwords which we can use to enter through here, and... fight this guy. Which, if you remember back in the Slowpoke, well, this is another one of the Rocket executives. You know, I don't remember what this guy is in the game. You can probably find it easily. Anyway, he starts out with a Zubat, which every Team Rocket member practically has. I'm telling you, whether you're fighting Team Rocket or going through any generic cave dungeon in these games, you're going to run into a lot of these guys. Luckily, my party is surprisingly over-leveled at this point. Like, we went from level 35s and such over back in Cianwood, the lighthouse and such, and the gym over in Olivine, to level 22s. From what I can tell, I think that you were intended to go over here first, even though the badge order is to go to Cianwood and Olivine first. But no harm, no foul in going this way first. At all. Actually, Raticate is a Pokemon, the one we're facing right now. It can be really good if you use Super Fang, or was it Hyper Fang I'm thinking of? One of those two is really good for it. But luckily I have Cam with Slash, which pretty much takes care of that. And his final Pokemon is a Coughing. Good for tanking. Yeah, we're gonna... By the way, this isn't the only... Technically speaking, this is a boss fight, and it's not the only one we're gonna be fighting in this video. We're fighting 4 bosses. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. In fact, that's the entire reason this video is 22 minutes long, is because of the 4 boss fights. Now, after you... Idiot. After that idiot runs into a table, go up here and talk to this Murkrow to learn the final password, which is Hail Giovanni. Giovanni was the boss of Team Rocket in the first game, and is nowhere to be seen in this game. He's also the main antagonist, technically speaking, of the original generation in Fire Red Leaf Green, but he's not that threatening, even though they're trying to bring him back. The only time he's really threatening is in the anime, but the less said about that, the better. Giovanni wouldn't actually be seen again from the Generation 1, at least, not including Fire Red Leaf Green, until Celebi event in the remake of this, almost 9 years later. Oh great, more rockets. Oh thank God, Lance, you sent out your Dragonite. That was Dragonite, right? Yeah, I think it was. Hey Lance, we're gonna take the one that has the red hair and is obviously gonna be the stronger one of the two, right? No, I have to fight her? Alright. Seriously, that's always the way it works out in these games. The super powerful trainer fights the easy one. We have to fight the guy who's actually very well trained. Anyway, first she sends out an Arbok, which is, bleh. Poison type, can be fairly good for status ailments, but the only good thing is about it that took me for some reason forever to realize when I was a child, is that Arbok and its pre-evolution Ekans are snake and cobra spelled backwards, even though cobra has a K for some reason. These rockets are not threatening at all, really. If you're just around my levels, you should be wiping the floor with them, besides taking some necessary damage along the way. Then again, Gen 2 as a whole Crystal as a whole is rather easy, because it's not really much about the gameplay as it is about the immersive world, in my opinion. Which it is. I love this game's region the most. Anyway, keep an eye on their everyone's levels, because they're only going to be like that for a very short while now, because by the end of the video, most of them are going to be at level 30. Because I did some off-screen training in between this and the gym fight. Oh, Gloom. You scream derp. Now the thing is, the saliva that you're seeing in its mouth is supposed to be some sort of nectar poison that its prey would fall for. Pokemon just made no sense to me as a kid. In terms of the games are always fun, but some of the stuff just makes no sense. Like, what do the Pokemon eat? I mean, we know they eat berries and poppins and such, but what do the humans eat? Do they eat Pokemon? Which, I'm gonna try not to think about that because it's confusing. I mean, we know for a fact that they drink Miltank milk. Oh, hi, Murkrow. One of the very few Dark-type Pokemon at the time, actually. Wouldn't get an evolution until Gen 4. In fact, Generation 4 ended a lot of unnecessary evolutions that were actually really broken in terms of stats. Then again, that's probably because they were so hard to get, because you had to get certain items and trade them. Luckily, I had 2 DSs and Platinum and Diamond, so I could at least do that stuff. And actually, what you just saw there was Slash, with one of Cam's best moves, actually, for the rest of the game. Because it is powerful, and it still has a fairly high critical hit rate, although it's nowhere near as ridiculously high for critical hits as it was in the original Red, Blue, and Yellow. Good God, that was ridiculous. Here's a question. How exactly is the evil laugh foo 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 pronounced? I've heard multiple pronunciations, but I'm not sure which is right. And apparently, the reason that the Magikarp are evolving in the Lake of Rage is because of some sort of odd radio signal they're sending out with this machine, which us and Lance needs to take out. There are 3 electrodes on either side. I'm only showing off one. The other 2 you'll only see me talking to. Because I don't think I've shown off electrode at this point. If I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong. That's it. I think I did show off an electrode at one point, actually, so And of course, it decides to self-destruct when I bring out the thing, the one Pokemon I have that is almost immune to its electric attacks. In fact, it is ground type, so it would be immune to its electric types. Yeah, as you can tell, I've lost some serious damage against these guys. Now, actually, Fly, we won't be having, now, the Fly Slave, Fly, the Noctowl, I think it was, won't be in our party for much longer. Within the next 2 parts, it'll be replaced with the final Pokemon in my team. Which I gotta say, I'm glad it's finally going to be happening. And we get HM06 Whirlpool, which is the most useless of the HMs, besides maybe Cut and Flash. We're only going to be using it once, and I'm going to be putting it on the shiny Gyarados. Lance seems to have quite the insight on the Pokemon training. I wonder if he's a gym leader or something. Well, actually, people already know who played the first game that he was a member of the Elite Four. In fact, he was the final member before, Blue, or Gary as he's known in the anime, as the champion, but... the less said about that, the anime, the better. Then again, I'm not much of a Gen 1 fan as it is. I prefer Gen 2 and onwards. And I fought a majority of the trainers here off-screen. The only two I didn't were at the bottom. And I will say this is probably one of the more annoying gyms, because it's easy to get lost in if you don't know where you're going. The real puzzle is just getting to the one spot you really need to go to, which is there, and then you're pretty much on the way to the boss. And this is the next gym leader, Price. Now, as you couldn't tell by the fact that the floor is covered in ice, this is an ice type gym, and ice types weren't that common. In fact, there aren't that many at all in this generation. First out, he sends a seal. Not much of a fan of ice types, so you don't really know anything about these guys. But if you have a fire type in your party like I have, Blaze, this is going to be pathetically easy. Aurora Beam, oh dear. That's actually a rather powerful attack no matter what Pokemon you put it on. In fact, I think Matt can learn it. I might have to give him that. Then again, I have this game entirely planned out throughout at least the main story's final boss. And he sends out a Dugong, which is Seal's evolution. Still don't know anything about ice types, really. I never really use them. Then again, I have set teams I almost always use for Gens 1, 2, and for Generations 1 and 2, which are the ones I play the most. No, I literally just said I'm not much of a Generation 1 fan. I know for a fact that the Ice-type gym gave me the most trouble in Gen 4, but that's just because by the time I played Gen 4, I was still in that phase where I only leveled up my starter. So if I lost my Infernape, I was kind of screwed. Luckily, I'm a much better person now than I was those years ago. And his final Pokemon is a pile of swine, which is from I know this is not a good Pokemon at all. It's ice and ground. From what I've heard, it has some good stats, but I don't really look into the stats that much. And as you can see, besides the health I'd already taken away, Flame Wheel takes it on one hit, so this shouldn't give you much trouble if you chose Cyndaquil at all. If you even chose a Cyndaquil, this shouldn't give you any trouble. Totodile might give you some trouble. Chikorita's the hard mode, so it'll obviously give you trouble. And we get the Glacier badge. It allows us to use Whirlpool, even though we're only going to be using it a total of 3-4 times in the entire game. Icy Wind. I'm not even sure if I'll be teaching Matt that. I'm not really sure my final moveset actually for Matt at this point. We'll have to look into that. Let's see, let me bring up my notes. And Professor Elm is telling us that apparently Team Rocket has hijacked the radio. Well, crap. And if you actually go on to the radio and check any of the older channels, they actually have hijacked it. So let's head over to Goldenrod and stop that, shall we? Alright, Goldenrod, here we come once more. And now they actually are around the city. Now, they won't fight you in the actual city for some reason. I'd still be careful though. And for some reason throughout the entire tower, they are playing the, what's it called? Team Rocket and Counter theme. So if you enjoy it, I guess this is why people enjoy the theme so much, is because they never really were able to hear it for long periods of time until now, so they actually started to like it because of it. But for me, it's... meh. And as you can tell, when you're here, you're going to be finding quite a few rocket grunts, and it just gets annoying after a while. But we're actually nearing the end of the even fighting Team Rocket in general. This is their quote-unquote last stand, so after this entire sequence in the radio tower, we're not going to be seeing them ever again, except for one event later on in the game. Much later in the game, mind you, towards the... probably towards part 20-ish. Now, also, the Team Rocket Grunts are not the only guys you'll be fighting in here. You'll be fighting a couple of those scientists, but they're no problem. As you can see, Abe is the only one who's not at level 30 at this point, because I kind of ran out of places to train it towards him leveling up. I would have level grinded for him, but those are levels we can make up easily, considering I will want to be at least around level 40 with everyone towards the end of the main story, which is no problem for at least Blaze, because he's already at level 38 at this point, I think. Also, for some reason, one thing I forgot to mention is that for the Team Rocket, they play the Team Rocket theme, battle theme for the Rocket Grunts, and the Encounter theme for the Executives, like we're about to fight one right now. Yet for some reason, they don't play the actual Team Rocket battle theme. And by the way, this is the 4th boss we're fighting. This is why this video is 22 minutes long. And all this guy has 5 coughings and a wheezing. And also, in 2 parts, prepare to see no more variation in the team after we catch a Pokemon in that, because I actually just realized we will be catching that Pokemon in 2 parts. So we're almost done with our team fully, and we'll never catch another Pokemon aside from legendaries. Which I will be going after, although for 2 certain ones, and you probably do know who those certain ones are, I'm going to be fighting them off. I'm going to be either finding them off screen or just cheating and using an action replay code or something to get to them. Because roaming legendaries are too annoying to catch. That would take me hours to find them. The entire reason that, then again, if I did that, you guys would probably want me to hack in and get the event Pokemon, wouldn't you? But the thing is, I'm not 100%ing the Pokedex. I'm just doing a normal playthrough, catching what legendaries are available through normal means. That event Pokemon don't really count. Because you need to actually try to find those guys, and I mean, you actually would have to hack in and give yourself the item for the event to find them, and I'm just not doing that. The roaming legendaries are at least available through the normal game, so I'll be catching them, no problem. And I have been not talking at all about this fight, have I? Oh, wheezing. I remember when James had you in the anime. Back when Team Rocket was at least somewhat threatening. Then again, they stopped being threatening after the 3rd episode they were in. Or, actually, no, in my opinion, they actually stopped being threatening when James got a new voice actor. And Weezing's down. And if I remember correctly, he has, like, yeah, 2 more coughings. See, this is the reason that Team Rocket sucks. They're aside from maybe certain members of it, their teams are rarely ever balanced. I mean, that's the reason I made my team what it is. It's because it has balance, not only in typing, but well, actually, yeah, in typing and stat variations. But these guys just use the same Pokemon over and over again in their teams. Zubats, Rattatas, Raticates, all of those. Coughings, Ekans, ugh. The only somewhat threatening one of them all was actually Giovanni, even though he barely did anything but fight you a couple times. Actually, that's actually a good point there. In terms of Pokemon, only the team leaders seem to be somewhat threatening. Although N was actually rather... even though N from Gen 5 was rather threatening. Anyway, the director that we were supposed to find is actually in the underground passage. Remember when we were there like 6 parts ago when we were originally here? Oh, that was fun. Anyway, I'm going to have to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time on Pokemon Crystal, we will rescue the director of the radio tower and see what happens after that. See you guys then. I normally only be around 10 hours at this point. The damn fast forward key.